Welcome back. If the state of my hair isn't any indicator, it's about to be a crazy week. And normally I do my whole yap spiel Monday morning as I'm doing my lap around the farm. That is not the case this time because there is a lot to discuss. And so we're doing a pre-plan. It's gonna be wild. Anyway, it is officially Breeders' Cup week. What does that mean for those of you who do not know? Breeders' Cup is our end of the year championship. A lot of people compare it to the Super Bowl. I hate that analogy. I think it is better compared to a yearly Olympics. And the reason why is because we have horses coming in from South Africa, Argentina, Japan, France, England, Canada, the United States, and it's not just for a single race, it's for multiple races over multiple specialties compared to the Derby, which in my opinion is more Super Bowl because, you have mainly United States horses. Yes, Japan sends a few here and there, and so does Europe, but it's typically United States, and it's one race rather than a whole diversity, right? Friday is the baby day, so the 2-year-old, the future stars, they'll have horses run short on the dirt, long on the dirt, short on the turf, long on the turf, etc. And then Saturday is the big day for mainly the older horses. Again, short on the dirt, long on the dirt, short on the turf, long on the turf. You have the middle stuff, you have the filly stuff. There's a lot of variety for a lot of horses coming all over the world, which is why I think it's a little bit better described as the Olympics rather than the Super Bowl. But it is what it is. Why is this a big deal? Obviously, it's our championship. We pay a lot of attention to this. Throughout the year, there are races that are kind of leading up to it as the build. And this year, there's certain divisions that are kind of up in question. And then also, obviously, everyone just wants to see the rematch of sovereignty, journalism, fierceness, that whole shebang in the classic. So, because realistically, not always, but realistically, sometimes the horse of the year status is left up to the horse that wins the classic. I truly don't see any horse besides Sovereignty winning it though this year. The horse of the year title. Could he lose the classic? Yeah. And could he still win horse of the year? If he loses the classic, I think it would have to be a close race, and I think it would just depend on who beat him. But yes, I don't think is going to lose that title. Anyway, why is this a big deal for us personally? This will be our 4th time sending horses there. So the very first time was several years ago. I think it was about 8, 10. I don't remember. We had a Violence filly that ran in the big race for the 2-year-old fillies. She was either 2nd or 3rd. I don't entirely recall. It's fine. I could have looked it up, but she is now a broodmare in Japan. The next time we were last in the distaff, and freaking Baffert sent a rabbit. For those of you who do not know what the term rabbit is, it is a speed horse whose entire job is to go out there and set an insanely fast pace and hope the other speed horse goes with you and lets the pace fall apart. Anyway, Baffert sent a rabbit, and dumbass over there went with the rabbit, and everything just fell apart exactly how we thought it was going to. Anyway, as soon as I saw those opening fractions, I was like, we're fucked. And we were fucked. Anyway, so she was last, but then they were tempted to redo her another year, but it didn't pan out. She's also now a broodmare. And then 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago now, we also had one in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and he was 4th. And he is now standing stud over at Hillendale. So, obviously, this is a big race. There are a lot of really, really amazing horses show up and run. And this is a lot of deciding factors for stallion and broodmare stuff and things of that nature. We got 2 running potentially in this year. So, currently, the pre-entries are already out. The entries, I don't think, come out till Tuesday? I don't know. I haven't actually looked. I really don't care. I care. But don't tell me, I'll get the alert. So we have 2, and I'll also explain a little bit of the process of what qualifies horses to go in, because I know I'm going to confuse people with what I'm about to say. So the first one we have is a 2-year-old filly by City of Light. We sold her last year as a yearling. You all got to see her. I had talked about this filly, and I think, if I remember correctly, I had joked, oh yeah, she's only going to sell for $75,000, and then she went and sold for a lot more than that, and I was like, I look dumb. But she was definitely the type of horse that people kind of look for as a potential Oaks contender in the future. So she is her first preference is the Juvenile Fillies turf. Her second preference is for the dirt. She is, I think, next on the list for the turf, but she's got the thumbs up for the dirt. I'll explain the whole thing here in a second. The other filly is a Gunrunner 3-year-old filly that we sold 2 years ago. You all didn't see her. TikTok saw her because I wasn't doing YouTube at the time. But she is running in her first preference is the distaff, which she does. I do believe she has got the thumbs up to go in. Yeah, I think she's good to go. And they second preferenced her in the mile as a just in case, which I was like, I do not want to run in the mile. I don't want to run against Nysos. No, thank you. Not over in California. So yeah, so we have 2 chances. Maybe the 4th try is the charm, but we'll finally win one. That would be nice. But yeah, it's a really big deal. It's in all honesty, I think for depending who you ask, a lot of people will be like, oh, everyone wants to have a Derby horse. And I think, yeah, everyone would like to have a Kentucky Derby winner. But really, for me personally, I heavily prefer Breeders' Cup over the Kentucky Derby. Like, to say you have a Breeders' Cup winner, for me, just sounds so much nicer than the Kentucky Derby winner. Mainly because Kentucky Derby is for 3-year-old colts early in the year. It is a single race. It is a big race, yes, but it is like a race. The Breeders' Cup is more of like the overall championship. Like it's the same horses who've been battling against each other all year, building up to this one final race. And I don't know. I just really like it a lot better. I've always been like a Breeders' Cup person. If I were to win a race, if you were to ask me, would you rather have it be the Kentucky Derby or the Breeders' Cup? I would rather win a Breeders' Cup. Anyway, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about entries and things of that nature to clarify a few things, because the process is simple, I guess, but like it's a long-term thing. First off, pre-enter your babies. So, as babies, we should pay, I heavily recommend you pay the $400 to pre-nominate your babies. And that sounds ridiculous, but you never know. And the reason why I say you never know is because some of these horses were not pre-nominated as babies and now have to pay $200,000 in order to enter. I am not joking. It's insane. So we always pre-nominate all of our babies in order just in case, because you never know, just in case we are in this situation. So that's a whole thing. It's a lot of money, but there are ways to get in a lot cheaper. You can win a win in your in race. So what are these races? There are certain races throughout the year that qualify, that if you win, you automatically qualify for the Breeders' Cup in that division, right? So they have a whole bunch of races throughout the year that if you win, congratulations, you're in. You do not have to pay the extra fee, and they will help accommodate your shipping, which is great, especially if you have a horse on the East Coast and you got to get all the way over to the West Coast. Now, if you have a horse that has been running really well all year, but for whatever reason did not win a win in your in race, you can still enter them. I think it's either 40 or 50,000 to enter them. So yeah, it's a lot of money to enter them, and then you also still have to take care of your own shipping. So it is nice and handy to win one of these winning your ins, because it saves you a lot of money. And obviously it's a lot of conversation when you do because you do have to sit down and talk. Hey, do you want to fork up this money? I couldn't fork up that money at all. I would have to win a win. I could not afford to do that. I would have to win a win in your in race or ask for a loan. Like I would have to, being realistic, a lot of like normal people can't. A lot of the normal people have to try and win a win in your in. The other guys who actually have money, they can be like, hey, our horse has been running really well all year. We either didn't enter them or didn't win a win in your in, but we were really close. We have the money. Let's do it. And so they'll go ahead and risk it and put the money in and enter. There is a board committee that gets together, and they do have to guarantee the horses that want to win in your in a spot. Okay. There are a certain amount of horses they put in the starting gate of each race. So those horses automatically have their entry, and then they go through the list of horses who are pre-entering, right? And they say, yes, congratulations. And then they'll have horses that are like on the maybe. So like they need one horse to opt out before they can guarantee that horse is in. And then they also just have a list of no, don't try. We don't want you here. You didn't run well enough throughout the year in our opinion, to qualify. So some people will do a first or second preference thing in the case of the 2-year-old, right? So she has ran both on the turf and the dirt. Both races were good. She had a lot of traffic trouble in both races, but she ran well. And I have got to get new headphones. Every once in a while, I get like a staticky breeze in this one, and it throws me off. Anyway, so her first preference is the turf, which is the grass. And she is on the outside looking in by like one horse. So if one horse decides, hey, I don't want to, I'm changing my mind, or I'm going into a different race, then she can for sure get into the turf. That being said, she has second preference to the dirt. On the dirt, though, she already has a thumbs up. So that means if for whatever reason she can't get into the turf, she for sure has a race on the dirt. But they would prefer her to go on the turf if that spot opens up. So that's kind of the thing. It's like a backup plan. You know, she would rather have the first preference, but there's a backup plan, and she's all good for the backup plan in case that happens, right? So that's the story. Anyway, so it's a lot. It's going to be in California this year. I have never been to Del Mar. Hey, we'll be out there at 2:30. For some reason, I thought my farrier was going to be here Tuesday, not Monday. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, it's been a thing. To add to that, so we fly out Thursday. I think we land in California Thursday afternoon-ish. I think, obviously, depending on how life goes, a lot can happen between now and entry day or race day, right? So as of right now, we have 2 potentials. Very well, come Friday, we might have no one. For whatever reason, life might happen. We might not have nothing. But as of right now, we got 2 chances. So that's exciting. What else is happening? I think realistically on the farm, not a lot's going to be happening. We're going to be doing some November sale prep before we leave, but really that's the main focus for the week is Breeders' Cup and me packing, because that's the other thing that's happening. So when we land back in Kentucky, I think Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, and immediately I have to go, and we had the Phasix Tipton November sale on Monday night. That's the big fun sale. Every time people are like, I want to go see a thoroughbred sale, I always heavily recommend going to see the Phasix Tipton Night at the Stars November sale. That is the sale that, in all honesty, a whole bunch of the regular poor folk, we get hammered and just watch the rich people fight it out. It is so much fun to just sit and watch the money and the horses. You get starstruck because a lot of these horses that are going to be flying in, there was a lot of mares in particular that were running over a Breeders' Cup that are now going to be in this sale. And so it's always really fun to just get drunk and watch all the rich people fight. It's just, like, not physically, but like just I got 100,000 more than you. It's just fun. Okay, that's always a sale I always recommend. So there is a horse I need to go look at, a baby. I'm not buying. I just need to look at it. That is in that sale. But for the moment we land back on Kentucky soil, I am switching sides essentially. So I have talked about it a bit before, how this is, our family farm. I think I've worked here. Once I worked here all growing up, and then kind of went on my own way for a while and did college, and then dropped out of college, and then meandered and did show horse stuff. And then I came back, and I think I've been here for 10, how old am I? Yeah, maybe I think it's been about 10 years that I've been back here. We have always known that this was going to be a conversation of, like, eventually. I thought this was like a 5-year down the road conversation. Apparently it was a this year conversation. But obviously we have this farm. We have some clients that are here year round, that they never leave. Their horses are always here. We have other clients that have their own place, and for whatever rhyme or reason, their horses come here for one reason or another, and whenever they're ready to go back home, they go back home. Well, we have a client that lives like 10-15 minutes down the road, and they have changed so dramatically in the last like 5-6 years. When they started, they had like 3 mares, and it's kind of just went kaboom. The value of their mares has skyrocketed. They have produced an insane amount of stake horses within the 6 years that they've been doing their thing. They've added mares to their herd. They are buying more property, they're building more barns, so they are expanding, and the value of their horses have significantly rose. Now, we were always kind of playing like puppet master with them, meaning they had their own manager and they were doing whatever they had on their own, but we were always overseeing it, right? Well, starting in September, they no longer had a manager, and it obviously, with the quality of horses having skyrocketed and them constantly expanding, it kind of got to the point where we were already there constantly anyway, and their manager was kind of only doing half of the job. And so once I come back, I will be moving over to their place full time and micromanaging their herd. So that is definitely going to be a bit of a drastic change, I think. Well, okay, I say drastic. I don't really know. I still haven't really, I don't know. I've known about this since September, and I don't think it's fully sunk in exactly how I'm going to feel about all this. I have a feeling I'll have to be there for like 2 weeks before I'd be like, oh my God. But yeah, so obviously here I'm managing like 100 mares, and admittedly I do more of the horse stuff, right? Like I don't necessarily deal with the clients. I deal with the boys on the property, obviously. But like, it's more of like, we're on the same level, right? Like I just get the phone call for anytime someone needs shots or this or that. Like I'm just constant standby, right? But I do more of the horse stuff. I don't necessarily do the paperwork stuff. And obviously I do half of my year is on night shift and the other half is on day shift. Over at the new place, it's a smaller number of horses. I think it's only 25 mares right now. And then obviously they have babies and they have yearlings. But it's definitely a smaller number of mares, but it's a lot like, I don't know. Like I am no longer just be doing horse stuff. I'm doing everything, which I do have to laugh because this is not the first time I have fully managed a place on my own. Normally here, my dad is always sitting here like, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it right. That's not how I would do it. No. I think we all have the right idea. Like that's, we're constantly bouncing ideas off each other, and it's just, just whoever is doing whatever. This over here, I will be fully alone, which is, I think that's where I'm like, oh, I haven't been alone in like 10 years. I did have managed places before. And so it's kind of like, that were like, 10, 20 horses. So it was never really that much. But this is definitely a little different, and I haven't really figured out why. I'll figure it out eventually when it slaps me in the face. But yeah, so a lot of things are going to be changing. It's going to take me a couple weeks, so I might take a little bit of a break from posting just until I figure out exactly how I'm going to do things. But some things are going to change, but really it's just a lot more variety. So I am not going to be doing fall watching here like I normally do the 5 months out of the year that I normally do. I will, however, still be here to do fall watching stuff from time to time. So basically, I always say how I call for backup, right? When it's time for babies. I have now moved to backup, meaning whenever backup is not available, which does happen sometimes they're out doing breeding shed runs and things of that nature. I am now replaced as backup. So I get the phone call when it's baby time, when they're not available. Also, I've already told weekend shift and the person who's replacing me, I'm like, when my mare's full, because my mares are going to be staying here. When my mare's full, I better get a phone call. Right? Phenomenal. So I will still be there. And then also, I'm naturally nocturnal, so I can guarantee you there will be times where it's like 10 p.m. and I like walk in the barn and I'm like, what y'all doing? Y'all having a baby? Because I'm bored. So luckily the two people who are here, I can annoy because it's cool. And so I'll probably be here sporadically when I'm bored or when my own mares or when I'm needed. And like, I'm sure I'll be here on standby enough for us to get baby content. It's just not going to be consistent like it used to be. I will be able to show you all a lot more of the daytime baby stuff. This has been something that people have complained about for years over on my TikTok. They're like, we only ever see the babies inside. I am nocturnal. I am sleeping. They're outside when I'm asleep. Okay? I'm sorry. Now, congratulations. You can see the babies outside. Does that make you feel better? Freaking Jesus Christ. Anyway, so you'll be able to see a lot more of just how we're handling the babies in the daytime and just babies outside and babies being cute. Like I always say every year, I'm going to do more than that. No, I was sleeping. You also get to see a little bit more of, because I never get to show you all, the I'm still kind of playing by ear how exactly if I'm going to and to what extent, but you get to see our mating process. So you get to see when we're watching a mare cycle, counting days, taking her to the breeding shed, counting the days afterwards, seeing who's pregnant, blah, 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 all that shit. You get to see more of the mating process itself. I will kind of sort of still be doing the yearling sale stuff. I am not going to be sale prepping anymore because they're still going to be coming here to sale prep. But from what the conversation has been, I will still be going to the sales and helping them sell. I'll still be playing cartsman, right? Because the world can survive when I'm gone for a week, right? So I'll still be doing that. You will get to see me doing a lot more of the buying side. Yes, I know everyone's a little excited. We've always been on the selling side, but now I will be able to change gears specifically for the November sales. And we will be doing a little bit of buying here and there when it comes to mares. So I can walk you all through that process. The other good thing, and this is mainly for my book stuff. I tried to do book content and I was doing really well up until I was getting into a rhythm up until I stopped doing Night Watch. And then it went out the window because I couldn't sit down and do recording without being interrupted. So, and this honestly will go with you all. There are so many different videos I need to do with you all that genuinely are, like right now, sitting down, talking to you all, having a conversation without being interrupted. And I think anyone who lives with other people, no matter what your schedule looks like, the other people still have a schedule and sometimes it conflicts with yours, right? And so there's so many times I want to sit down, do the rambly thing with you all, but people are like, it's 2 a.m. Go to bed, or, oh, we're going to go do this, and you're coming too, and, oh, we're doing this. And so it's been a lot of the times like me wanting to do long sitting rambling videos. I haven't been able to purely because my time isn't just my time. There's other people involved. However, now it's going to be me and the dogs, or I might be getting it long. Listen, this thing, wherever he went. Oh, you can't see it. There he is. The Dalmatian. He technically does not belong to me. He belongs to my sister. There's currently an argument going on. We've got bets placed to see how long it's going to last. He's technically not my dog. Belongs to her. I'm trying to convince her to let me take him with me when I move. I'm doing too much rambling. My throat hurts now. She is against it, but reality is that is a high maintenance dog that needs to be out all the time, and I live on a farm. Makes sense. She's a school person. Anyway, so either he is for sure coming with me, but it might take a month. We're playing it by ear. Anyway, but regardless, I do plan on getting myself another dog. I'm ready for my other border collie. I lost my border collie a couple years ago, and I've been wanting another border collie for like a year and a half now. So that will be something anyway, I've rambled off topic. So yeah, I will now have the ability to actually do a lot more of the sit down long conversational videos and, have a conversation without constantly being interrupted. So that I'm really excited about that one. I know originally on TikTok, I was doing it's Friday, let's talk horse racing stuff. I stopped doing that because partly I was just busy. And again, it was just, sometimes I just ran out of time to talk about everything. And so now I will have the opportunity to actually go more in depth about the stakes racing that is happening around. And not only that, but talk about the Winning Your Breeders' Cup races that are leading up to the championships every year. And then talk about the Derby races. And I can go in a little bit more detail so you have a little bit more of a better plan or an idea leading up to all these bigger races that most of the people watch. Because obviously there's a lot of big races for us, but to like the general public, I feel like they kind of know the Derby, maybe the Travers, and then maybe Breeders' Cup, you know what I mean. Anyway, so that will be a whole thing. There's a couple other little things I have debated about potentially adding, but it's kind of like let's try one thing at a time first, So yeah, I have a feeling just overall the content will change a little bit. It'll be a little bit more diverse, but I'll still be doing things. Hopefully. I might take a couple weeks off just to kind of get my feet under myself and get life figured out and just get in control of my new job, because I don't know. I have to be, it's like realistically, it's not me being pushed off the deep end. I've done this before. It's just being pushed off to a different deep end, and I don't know what's there. We're gonna find out together. It's fine. So yeah, I'm actually and actually that's what I've been doing all day today, is trying to fix my hair, because this takes forever to do, because I refuse to blow dry my hair. I hate heat on my hair. I do everything naturally, as the person who's got 20 different colors in their hair. I don't put any heat on it. So that's what I've been doing all day, is taking all the hair dye out of my hair to put new hair dye in, and packing to move, because I am moving. That pretty much, I don't know. I need to figure that out, whether or not, I think I'm gonna ask if it's clear for me to go ahead and start moving things in this week, and then go from there. And then that way, by the time we're back here stateside, because I also don't know entirely what my day off is yet. That was probably a question I should have asked, like, day of. But I didn't. And so I do need to figure out kind of just, hey, what's when I know what day I'm starting, but what day do I have off, and things of that nature, so I know when to move things. Oh, my riding horses will be coming with me. My broodmares and yearlings are staying here. The 2-year-old is coming with me, though, because she needs her ass whooped, and I don't think that me leaving her here is gonna do anything. She's a pain in my butt. Anyway, so yeah, that's the other thing. I will be doing, I keep saying I've been wanting to do my OTTB series for ages, and then this year I kind of backed off just because I lost my eventer and I just wasn't really in the mood for it. I was in a bad mood. But now I do have Peach that is coming around, and she's my hopeful new eventer, and so hopefully we'll get her started and get going and do that whole shebang. And there's just a lot of things of chit-chatting in that aspect too, of like, because I do want to kind of do videos of like, I don't know, the questions that people are afraid to ask, like the questions, that like, we're like, even I sometimes I'm like, I don't want to sound dumb. Do you know how long it took me to figure out how to properly measure an English girth, because no one taught me, and I was so embarrassed, and I didn't want to ask, and I tried to look it up on Google, and Google didn't really give me a definite answer, and then I would order the size that Google told me to order, and it was wrong. Anyway, just, I don't know. I kind of just want to do, just let's just talk and be not judgmental. I'm a judgmental person, but like, I understand having dumb questions that you're afraid to ask, and I will do the best I can to answer them. And honestly, sometimes people ask questions and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't actually know the answer to that. I just know what I do. I've got to ask, I got to call a friend. Anyway, this is totally rambled on to where I was not, I don't know. Anyway, that's the plan for this week. Is really, I'm just kind of packing. We're getting ready for Breeders' Cup. We no longer have anything on the hot walker. And it's gonna be chaotic. So, I will see you on Monday, and we will get started then. Good morning, it's Tuesday. First things first, I need to put down my coffee and show you all this situation. He was making biscuits, and he's now curled up on his back. Those two have such a weird relationship. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I worry about that cat. But then again, this dog has like a really weird energy, I guess, because male cats in particular love him. I always say he's a little fruity. Anyway, I'm allowed to say that. It's Tuesday. Please stop looking, everybody. It's Tuesday. I have a bit of better idea of what's going on this week. We have some horses moving in, some horses moving out, and that's really kind of it for farm life over here. We don't have anything for the vet. I'm not doing videos. We do have some horses in November to sale prep, and really with those horses, we're just grooming them a bit. The weather's been a little nasty. We're supposed to be hand walking them, but the weather's been nasty. And so we kind of haven't because of the weather. And yeah, that is kind of the current tea. There's not really a lot going on, which is good because I have a lot of stuff that I just need to get ready to do in order to move. You would think me just being a single individual person, surely you don't have a lot of stuff, especially because I'm not like a materialistic person. I would think, but except for two things. One, I always feel guilty about giving away or throwing things away that like people give me sometimes, and so I do have a lot of just random stuff that like I'm like, you never know. So I do have like a whole box of like, you never know. But really, it's my books. I have such an insane amount of books that like, it was in last time we moved, I made the error because freaking I told everyone, I was like, I need boxes for months. I was like, they're like, you don't, and they were all like, we don't actually need this many. Oh yeah, we do. And sure enough we did. But I think I have about 500-ish books, give or take, and that's not counting a couple of my nonfiction and my manga stuff because I just didn't count it. So I'm currently, last time I just threw them all in a trash bag, or a bunch of trash bags, and double bagged it, and I still am convinced I'm missing some books, but obviously some, especially my paperback, some of them got kind of damaged a bit, and so I was like, we're not doing that again. And so I'm making sure to box. That was the very first thing I did, is I boxed every single one of my books, and I'm still short on boxes. And to make it more embarrassing, Barnes & Noble sent me an email this morning like, by the way, that book you pre-ordered is headed to you on the way next week. Like, thanks. Yeah, I don't have a problem at all. So also, yesterday was the most Monday ever. I don't know where my coffee cup is. My horse was supposed to jerk for the farrier, and I felt really bad. Had him in a lip chain and everything, because he just was being a prick. I dyed my hair Sunday, and then I went to bed with it still kind of damp, and so I hadn't seen the final result. Woke up Monday, and I was like, and so then I re-dyed it this morning at 3 a.m. So I'm exhausted. I, again, still haven't seen it because it's not fully undamp yet. But I have it feels better. Like, it kind of, I don't know, we'll find out for sure once the light hits. Also, I haven't repaired my bathroom light, and I kind of just, that's part of the reason I don't know what it looks like, because it's fine. Yeah, yesterday was just Monday. But also, yeah, hopefully I'm just going to start cleaning and packing, because that was the other thing. You would think one person should not have that much stuff. It's mainly just books. Really, for my house stuff, I have to move the books, the clothes. I need to go through my clothes, honestly. I feel like people give me stuff, and I don't know what I have, and then I'm always surprised by the amount of stuff I have, and I'm just like, And then it doesn't help that I still fit in clothes that I have from, like, middle and high school. Like, this is my high school tennis hoodie that I wear all the time. It still fits. So, I just wear it. So yeah, I need to reorganize things. It's supposedly the internet people are coming today to put the internet in that house, and I might go ahead and tell them. I was like, if that's the case, and it's everything else is pretty ready, because they were touching up a few things. I was like, maybe I'll start moving a few boxes here at a time if the weather is not going to be too bad. Because the other thing, and because I'm a little socially awkward and I don't just want to come outright and ask, I'm gonna look, okay? We haven't fully figured out, because obviously I'm taking my riding horses, right? And I'm sorry, these two are just so weird. I'm taking my riding horses, and obviously they have their equipment, right? And I have always had, 4 to 6 horses depending on life, and so that's a lot of freaking horses. Oh goodness. And obviously there's a lot of equipment and stuff that comes with that. And so my biggest complaint with this place has always been that there's not enough storage in the barns. And I kind of had like a make-do situation in that specific barn. I think I've always I'll show you a picture. Please stop. I'll show you the picture of what I've always wanted, like one of these things, these little rolling tack boxes, the big ones. The issue is, and I've looked into it and I've asked around a bit, the issue is some of these are not designed deep enough for a Western saddle, and I do have English and Western saddles. This light, like, mysteriously went off. No, it didn't. I'm just blind. It's fine. And so that was always kind of why I was hesitant, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just build one on my own. And I've been saying that for years and I haven't. I found a homemade one on Facebook Marketplace that's deep enough, not just for a Western saddle, but it can hold 4 saddles. And obviously I got Western and English saddles. I got 2 Western, I got 1 English. I have an exercise saddle too. But I've also always known eventually I want to get a proper dressage saddle as well. And so it's like $600. And so I'm kind of waiting a little bit closer to Breeders' Cup to see how much money I have. I gotta pay people. That's the thing, I'm getting money, and so I'm kind of like, I know money's coming, but I don't have it right now, and I'm like, am I gonna, so that's the other thing, I need to make sure that, like, I have money to eat, and fill up the house with food, and I'm gonna have to buy bookshelves, and so that's another thing I gotta plan. There's a lot of, so I want to, but I definitely kind of want to buy that giant rolling thing, because it will put all of my stuff into a permanent box, and it won't take up as much room at their place. And I think that's a great idea. Anyway, I've rambled so much for this video. I swear you're going to see horses here, besides that one, eventually, when we go to Breeders' Cup. We fly out Thursday. I'm wondering how weather's going to affect it. It's supposed to be really rainy. But we fly out Thursday, and races are Friday. I'll share it with you. I don't know why I haven't shared it with you. I will share it with you. They drew the entries, and the City Light filly is in the 6th hole, which is a great hole. They did have her on the dirt, which is fine. But that horse, I don't know. The horse she worked with, that was a tough filly. And then there is also the other filly in the distaff, and she drew the 11, which is also fine. So yeah. So we're in. Woo. Obviously, still things can happen between now and then, but progress has been made. It is dark. I need to put my shoe back on and get these lovebirds out of my car. I also need to clean my car. I need to do a lot of cleaning and organizing, and it's stressing me out because I'm not in the mood to do it. Oh my lord, it's been so long. I've honestly recorded this final part several times. I don't know. I'm having issues with the app I'm using. I don't know if I just have too many clips or what, but I've edited all this several times and it's glitchy. I don't know. I'm trying to work. I'm working on it. Anyway, I've also filmed this so many times. I don't know where the video went. Regardless, so I did not show all like the actual races themselves because of copyright issues with NBC and all that stuff. If you do want to see any of the Breeders' Cup races, if you simply go and look up Breeders' Cup 2025, and then it has a list of all the races, and it'll show you all the races. Overall, the 2-year-old that we had, she ended up running on the dirt, which is not where ideally she wanted to be. She wanted to be on the turf. She ran okay. There was nothing special about the race in particular for her. That being said, since that race, she is officially now a stakes winner. So, obviously it's been a while since I've seen you all. Actually, she runs again in another stake later today, coincidentally. So yeah, she's done very well since the Breeders' Cup. As for the other filly who's running in the mare race, she ran okay. She ran a little flat toward the end, and it was because she did end up bleeding a little bit. So, sometimes when you do a lot of the drastic changes, like she's been on the East Coast and then she went over to the West Coast for the first time, and so obviously there's a lot of changes with the weather and the climate, and now she's next to the ocean. It's not uncommon sometimes for like things like that to happen, and it's not necessarily something you always for sure like, oh, it's gonna happen, or oh, it's not gonna happen, it'll be fine. It's not necessarily something you're always like, it just, life happens. That being said, she's doing wonderful. She is prepping last originally they told me that they were potentially going to take her to the Apple Blossom. So, that was the original plan. I know that they're aiming for a race at Laurel, and then she's going, I don't know what she's doing from there. Anyway, I can find out. Is he gonna be here next week? Oh, it's fine. Anyway, those two lovely ladies, they did not win, but they showed up, they tried, and they are doing well since. As for the rest of the races, it was good. It was, honestly, I will say there was a couple issues specifically with Breeders' Cup themselves. But the racetrack was very pretty. The area, very lovely. Like, that was such a nice little place to go to. I've never been over to Del Mar. I've been to Santa Anita in the back of a trailer. I don't really think that counts. But it was a nice trip overall. Besides the Breeders' Cup ticket issue, that was the whole thing. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Some of it wasn't really in order to, because again, I was having so many issues getting all this to transfer. I don't understand what the issue was. And then honestly, I had mentioned I was coming over to a client's place to micromanage them, and that was the whole thing, and it's been so chaotic. And honestly, you saw it was nice and warm and sunshiny, and now I have snow. It's not even snow, it's ice. It's been miserable. We can catch up on all that shebang later. This video has been long enough. Anyway, I apologize for the delay. I'm playing catch up this week, hopefully. I think I got 2 videos. What is happening? I am low on fuel. Joys. I do have a few things that I kind of need to. I have this video. I need to take you all to the November sale. Mating and foaling season stuff. I have not talked to you all about my breeding decisions. Admittedly, at this stage, I still do not know who I'm taking all of my mares to. There's 2 of them I have not made a decision on. I've kind of been told, we'll just wait and see. I was originally going to do a whole sit down thing, and I am when I find out who I'm breeding to. So that's the tea. Anyway, so yeah, this has gone on long enough. I apologize for being so late. A lot has happened. It's been busy. It's been hectic. I'm kind of now getting into a rhythm. It's been 2 months. I know. I'm finally getting into a rhythm. Chaos is happening. I have babies on the ground that you all finally are going to start seeing here soon. We're going to show you daytime stuff. Things are happening. So that's the tea. Anyway, I will see you all next time.